Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the National Sports Podcast. I'm Cameron Simpson, and on the phone today is Tommy. Hi, Tommy.
Hey, Cam. Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, so great. Guys, we are trying to figure out how to get this to work where we can see Tommy, but right now it is a work in progress, and once we get that to work, we will have it for you guys. So, anyway, Tommy, we have a lot to get to today. I want to start with open and take. Any sports news you've been seeing right now that you really want to talk about before we get into what's on our agenda?
Well, I figured it'd be good to start with LeBron James buying a share in Fenway.
Yeah, I agree. Let's dive into that.
Yeah, it's kind of weird seeing a player do that. As soon as he did that, it reminded me of what Derek Jeter did where he bought the Marlins. But the weird thing is LeBron is still playing, so yeah, why do you think he did this?
Yeah, it is a weird thing. Personally, for me, I think it's a retirement thing that he's really looking into the future of his retirement. The NBA, for him, he's an active player in the NBA, so to see him go to the NBA, to see him own an NBA team that he could be competing against for a championship wouldn't make much sense. So that's kind of where I am on that.
Yeah, that's probably what it was, of like a retirement thing. He's definitely probably got a few more years in the tank before he's really thinking about retiring, but I mean, these guys get paid a lot, so yeah, definitely has money to try to invest into a team, and you're definitely going to get good money off of teams like the Red Sox. And
oh yeah, he's definitely going to get good money. The other thing is people are retiring so young now, as you kind of started to allude to with the money and all of that. Everyone's retiring earlier, so why not set up a retirement plan? Because these athletes just don't want to stop and not do anything. They're going to want to keep doing things. So I think that's a factor into it too. There's definitely a lot of moving pieces to the puzzle, but I think that it is a cool thing to see. I don't get why Fenway and not LA, but I mean, yeah, he's definitely investing in something, and we've seen that with a lot of big sports figures lately.
Well, he probably did with Boston because maybe he was able to get a better deal, or it's all business. Yeah, I doubt he's too worried about location, considering he plays for a different team every 2 years.
That's pretty.
It just came down to where could he get a better deal and where did he see a better business opportunity.
Yep, definitely. Probably could definitely see something better there. Maybe a better fan base, a better market. More that he thinks is worth an investment. So, I mean, it's definitely worth following because I've heard that he possibly, when retires, could do an NBA team. NFL team, I've heard in the recent days as well. So there's still a lot of moving pieces to the puzzle.
Yep. All right. You want to pick the next topic?
Yeah, let's head on over to Tommy on the Sabres, guys. If you guys don't know, the Sabres lost last night to the Boston Bruins. They played them again Saturday. So, hey, Tommy, what the heck's going on with your Sabres?
I've been trying to figure that out all season. I think coaching comes down to it, leadership. You can have great players, but if you have a terrible coach, you're not going to have a good team. And that's what it came down to this year. They definitely got a good amount of talent there, but they got Taylor Hall on a 1-year contract, and I'm already hearing that he might get traded.
Yes.
I don't think they should be doing these 1-year contracts. You're not going to rebuild a team like that.
No, you need. They
did fire Ralph Kruger, the head coach, finally. That shows fans that owners care. I feel like if they would have held on to him much longer, fans would have gone insane. But they have a new coach in. I'm not surprised they lost. I haven't been surprised they've lost all year. So hopefully the new coach can come in and just put you're not going to see a complete turnaround until top next year. At this point, I don't even know what he could really do for this team. I honestly think they should have held on to Ralph Kruger because I don't know what bringing in a new coach in the middle of the season is really going to do.
Yeah, it's not going to do much. You're bringing in a coach mid-season and hoping that he can at least get you to win at a certain point. But the big thing to look at here is if you held on to that coach, your fans will get mad. But look at the big picture here. Your fans are going to get mad, but understand that fans get mad pretty easily. You're not going to just automatically win with a new coach, and clearly they haven't been. A new coach stepping in is going to be worse than an old coach in some ways, because that new coach has to learn the organization. He's going to bring his ways that he knows to coach into the game, as into your league. It's awesome to have a new coach when you have training camp and you have preseason, but you have weeks until the playoffs come around, and when the playoffs come around, you're not going to be a part of them. So why waste the money? And I agree with the 1-year contracts. Taylor Hall going, to my opinion, I don't like Taylor Hall, but I think it's a dumb move by the Buffalo Sabres. He's a decent player. Keeping him around would be good. And for them to say, yeah, no, pump the brakes. We're going to trade him because we gave him a 1-year deal, and we're going to give another guy a 1-year deal. Doesn't make sense. You can't rebuild a team like that.
Yeah, no, I would get it if you already had a good team, but they haven't made the playoffs in 9 years, and they weren't looking too good going into the year. How does a 1-year contract out? Now, I'll give the new general manager credit. He has been doing a lot better than their previous one, but when it comes to coaching, it's complete opposite. I thought the coach they had 2 years ago, Phil Housley, was a lot better. I wish they would have held on to him, because they did have a good year that year. I mean, they took a complete nosedive halfway through the season, but Ralph Kruger hasn't been able to get anything going in his time as being their coach. So you just hope this new coach can come in and try to bring a winning attitude into the team.
So that's why I wanted to ask you quickly, because I had one more take before we switch. But I wanted to ask you this before I get to that. What's your expectation for the Sabres the rest of the season? New coach, trying to get it to a rebuild. They're not going to make the playoffs, so do you have an expectation?
I don't think it's going to be much better. I'm terrified that they're going to take the record for the most losses in a row, which is held by Pittsburgh Penguins at 18. They're at 13, and they've looked terrible this season, and I would not be surprised if they made it the rest of the season with maybe one more win.
Yeah, and that's just disappointing, because Pittsburgh fans are like, yes, come on, Buffalo, I don't want that on our resume even anymore. Come on, take that away from us. But Pittsburgh fans are like, Buffalo fans are coming like, we haven't been playing good in a while. And for some random reason, they still have Jack Eichel. Are they going to hold on to him much longer? He's hurt. He's probably out for the rest of the season at this point. Next season, he's going to come back in. I don't see it turning around next season. So, does Eichel stay? Does Eichel go? What do you think would be better for him? What do you think is actually going to happen?
I think he's going to stay there. The general manager would be crazy to try to get rid of him. Now, he could easily go. A team would swallow him up very quickly. But right now, I think how they have to look at the years, take at least 5 players, and you keep all of them. And those are basically people you would not get rid of for anything. And then you got to try to rebuild the team around them and the coaching staff. I think Eichel will stay there. I hate when he runs his mouth about his team. That's not something a leader should be doing.
Agreed.
He complains about the team a lot, but I think it's more talk.
Yeah.
I doubt he'll be there for in the next 5 years. I think within at least the next 3 years he'll be gone, but for now I think he's going to stay there.
Especially, I really like how you brought that up, because if you're a leader and you're talking bad about the guys in your locker room, the people in your locker room aren't going to appreciate that very much. But the thing about this is, honestly, some of these big teams that don't really need him, that could scare them away just a little bit. They're like, well, he's a little bit, he talks bad, and I don't want that in my locker room. That's actually why Taylor Hall didn't get a job for, he got 1-year contracts, and he's going from team to team to team to team. He has not found a permanent place because of the way he is in the locker room. But I think Eichel is good, where I'm like, in my opinion, I was like, why the heck is he still here? Why is he still in Buffalo when he's so good? You would think he would be on a Washington Capital team or something like that. But he is so good. That's why the Sabres still have somewhat of a chance each year. You can never say, look, they're not going to be somewhat of a contender. They always have somewhat of a chance because of him.
Yeah, right. So not much more to say about them. The year can't end fast enough for them.
Yeah.
They're now allowing fans back into the building, and if there had been fans all along, it would still look the same, just without the cardboard figures.
Okay, let's.
That is a positive of being a Sabres fan, though. You can get tickets for like $6.
All right, let's switch gears quickly. Let's head to March Madness. Today's Friday when we're recording. Don't know when this is coming out. Probably around the weekend. So big games going on. First round. Got a few takes on March Madness. First thing I want to really talk about is like, how different is it going to be this year with March Madness? I know it's going to be different. I mean, I'm not a big basketball guy. I assume you're not a great big basketball guy. You don't really pay attention to it. College basketball for me is, I don't know, it's just college basketball. But March Madness is always a hit, so let's get into it.
Well, it's definitely, like you said, a very different year. Normally the arenas are packed. It's good to see there are still fans there. And it gives you somewhat of a normal feeling while watching it. But definitely seeing, I believe, Kentucky and Duke not being there, those are usually, you're so used to seeing them there.
Oh, yeah.
And so that just by itself is a huge difference. But it's nice to be able, it's very exciting basketball every year. And I usually don't follow the regular season, but I do start watching during March Madness.
Yes, exactly. That's the same here. I mean, definitely not seeing Duke is weird because they're always somewhat a Sweet 16 team. Kentucky, same deal. But this year has way different. These teams are not playing out of conference. They're playing in conference this whole time, like kind of in their bubbles because of coronavirus, which is, we all know what COVID does. But with that said, it is now transitioning to where they're playing all these different teams, and without playing out of bracket, it's hard to say like, hey, you are a serious threat because you played all these guys. No, you're a serious threat in your division. But once you get to Sweet 16, I think we're going to see some of these number 1 seeds, number 2, number 3s kind of go away because they haven't played in division. These 5 seeds, 6 seeds, 4 seeds even, could do pretty good.
Yeah, it'll be very fun to watch as the tournament goes on. I don't even know. I can't even make predictions. It's just been such a wild year. Got teams that are playing in conference, and so it's hard to look at the big picture going into it.
Right. I mean, there's some pretty upset special teams here. Number 1 has never lost to a number 16 in the history of the NCAA tournament, so don't count your money on that, guys. That's not what I'm trying to say here. But, I mean, a local team for me, Hartford, is in it this year, so hey, maybe they can do something, right? Probably not because they're playing number 1 Baylor. But, that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at some upsets in the bracket. I'm looking at some of these possible upsets here that could go through, that potentially will go through. So, it's always fun to keep watching and see what happens. And we'll see. Next National Sports Podcast, we will be me and you and hopefully some guests. So we'll talk about a little bit here. I think you told me a few days ago you're going to make a bracket.
Yeah, I did think about making a bracket. I have constructed it, even though the tournament has already started. I kind of always do that.
Yeah.
In any sport where I'll try to make predictions, see how true they are. Yeah, I did come up with one. I'm pretty much still working on the Final Four teams and stuff like that. But needless to say, for the first few games, it did not turn out in my favor.
Yeah, no, I don't even know. I haven't looked at my brackets. I made 5 of them. Really, dog? You had to do that? We did. Yeah, we made 5 of them. I made 5 of them, and picked different winners just for fun. But I'm pretty sure they're gonna blow up in my face. So that should be fun. That should be our funny segment of the day next week. Is kind of like that. So, Tommy, just wondering because we're gonna wrap this up soon. But I want to know, do you have any other news really going around that you've heard of recently that you want to bring up?
Not too much on my end.
Yeah, I just want to quickly talk about the NFL quarterback situation going on right now. It's been chaotic, and I don't know if you guys have seen my recent video. I kind of alluded to it a little bit. Deshaun Watson, I want to talk about him for a second. He wants out, right? He wants out of the Texans. Can't blame him, but he's being a little dramatic about it. I'm going to sit next year if you don't trade me. They have no plans on trading him. Do you blame him?
Not too much. I mean, Texans have been on and off, I feel like, the past 2 years. This year it was horrendous for them, but the year before they made the playoffs, and I believe had one win. And, I don't know. I think as a player, you can't do that going into the next year.
No, I think...
You can't completely give up on your team like that, because if you are stuck there, then now everyone around you hates you because in a way you've been talking about your own team. Plus, other teams aren't going to exactly be happy to take him on after making comments like that.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, so, like, Deshaun Watson, I just don't understand why he would be like that. You got to be a team player. And I think that if I'm the Texans and I don't have to let him go, why would I let him go? I mean...
Yeah, that's the thing, I don't even know where he wants to get traded to, but, I mean, they're not a bad team. I mean, this year they had obviously trouble, but I think that's like we were talking about Zach Eichel earlier. Sometimes you're going to have bad seasons. Zach Eichel has now had 5 with the Sabres, or this is 6, I believe. But you got to be part of the rebuild, and if you're going to give up on your own team like that, you're never going to rebuild.
Yeah, and do you see Russell Wilson going anywhere?
I don't. I think he'll be there next year.
Me too. I agree. And then Patriots have done a lot of signing recently. Are you feeling confident with their signings? Because they still kept stupid Cam Newton around. Do you feel confident with their signings, or do you feel kind of... like, that's all it is. For me, it's kind of like,
I think they'll have a better season than this year. My belief in Cam Newton is not very strong.
Right.
Watching the Buffalo Bills be any quarterback up like that, any confidence in him is gone, so...
Oh, I totally 100% agreed. I don't believe Cam Newton is the answer for the Patriots, but I believe some of these signings will help them get better. There's still a draft where they could possibly get a quarterback. I don't see that happening, not at least a good one. So we'll kind of see how it goes, but we'll definitely do a draft episode as well, guys. National Sports Podcast has kind of just been there for months, and kind of just like once every month or 2 or 3, we're going to try to pop these out for you guys pretty quick. So, Tommy, is there anything else, or you think we should wrap it up?
Yeah, I think pretty much wrap it up.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching the National Sports Podcast. We enjoy it, and we'll have one on my channel next time. So if you're on Tommy's channel, go subscribe to my channel, Cameron Simpson, and you'll be able to get the next episode. And I will make sure that more of my subscribers get over to you. I don't know why. They're like, National Sports Podcast, what the heck? I mean, come on, guys, if you're watching from my channel. Anyway, that's it for me. Have a great day, everyone. Tommy, thanks for doing it, and we'll have like an interview potentially next time, too. I'm working on it, guys. So, yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.